What's going on, everyone? Zane Ellis here, and welcome to another episode of Storm the Court. Today, we gotta dive deep into the Denver Nuggets' decision to fire their head coach Mike Malone just a handful of games before the playoffs. I mean, does this even make sense? You've got the reigning champs, a two-time MVP, and suddenly the whole operation feels like a house of cards ready to tumble. All right, so let's break this down. We've got Malone saying post-game that players aren't even watching film, leaving all that heavy lifting to the coaching staff. Who does that? It sounds like something out of a bad sports movie script, players losing their hunger, and the coach feeling powerless to fix it. But hey, if you've got a transcendent player like Nikola Jokic averaging those ridiculous 40-point triple-doubles and your team still looks lifeless, yeah, that's a problem. And here's where it gets crazier. It seems both ownership and the front office are feeling the heat. The idea is maybe they're trying to capture some of that Kings magic from last year. Remember when they fired Luke Walton mid-season and it sparked a run? But the Nuggets are a whole different beast. This isn't a young, scrappy squad looking for an identity. They're coming off a championship. This feels more like a panic move than a strategic one. There's also talk that there was some serious tension between Malone and GM Calvin Booth, two guys with totally different visions for this team. You've got Malone leaning on veterans while Booth wants to bring in fresh, young talents. There's got to be a he said, she said somewhere in the locker room that we haven't heard yet, and it must have blown up into a full-on melodrama right before the playoffs. Makes you wonder if Jokic pulled the strings behind the scenes. Kinda like, listen, I'm out of here unless something changes. And can we just pause for a second to appreciate how wild it is that 2 years ago this team hoisted the trophy, and now they're cutting bait like they're out of time? We talk about teams making moves to ensure they're still contenders, but this? It feels like a team giving up. You've got stars looking like they'd rather be anywhere else, and everything from the coaching strategy to the player commitment seems suddenly subpar. I mean, are we really going to accept that a championship roster has devolved this quickly? I don't want to overreact, but this smells like a dumpster fire waiting to happen. The Nuggets are basically showing their hand. Whoever's left has to know that none of their jobs are safe, even big-name guys like Jokic. It's like the front office is saying, we're starting fresh, and if you're not in, we'll find someone who is. That's not exactly the most comforting thing to hear when you're staring down the playoff barrel. So what does all this mean? The Nuggets are in for a rough ride. They're trying to find someone who can reignite that spark before the playoffs. But given the fractured environment right now, that's a tall order. I'm predicting if they don't make actual moves to fix this quick, we could be looking at a first-round exit this year. This whole situation leaves you with a bitter taste, doesn't it? You've got a team that should be competing for titles, and now they're in the midst of chaos. Count me among those shocked that we're even discussing this right before the postseason. But hey, that's the NBA for you. Never a dull moment, right? We'll be back soon with more hot takes, so stay tuned.